Hi guys, my name is Michaela and welcome to my channel. This is my very first video and going to be kind of an introduction to me and where I'm at in my life right now. Long story short, I quit my job with no plan, no job lined up. For the first time in my life, unemployed. I'm going to tell you guys a little bit about my experience today, kind of why I decided to put my notice in, what led me to the decision. A 25-year-old that has no job lined up and a huge future in front of her, but not exactly sure what to do. So if you're interested, stay tuned for more. This is my first video, but I'm gonna do my best to clue you guys into my life. I've wanted to jump on YouTube for a long time, and that's where I want to kind of share my story. So follow along. All right, so a little bit about myself. My name is Michaela. I'm 25 years old. I moved to Charlotte, North Carolina, the Queen City, in 2016 for school at Johnson & Wales University, and shortly after arriving in Charlotte, I found a job with a fantastic company who took me in and afforded me a bunch of opportunities for me to learn and kind of integrate myself into the chef community here in Charlotte. In my 7 years of employment with the group, I moved from lesser roles, bottom of the totem pole, all the way up to executive leadership roles. So when I first started, obviously I was an hourly pastry cook. I was in school at the time, so I was still learning a lot about pastry and a lot about leadership as well. And then after the pandemic, I was moved into an executive leadership role. Moving into the executive leadership role had its own sets of challenges, and I think that's what really took its toll on me over the last couple of years. Being in a role where a lot of the development of the department relies on you, hiring, firing, day-to-day operations, all of the creative push came from me, which was great and an opportunity that a lot of people don't come by, so I'm very grateful for it. But after 7 years, you know, you really only know what you know. Staying in the same role I felt like was going to be detrimental to my future. So despite not being able to find a job or have anything else lined up, and it being a very scary transition in my life, this is the best move that was needed to be made for myself. Now kind of going into the reasons why I left, I think the job itself was very manageable and something that I really loved and really enjoyed doing. I mean, my team was mine. I built my team, trained my team, taught my team, led my team, and the job itself was really fun. You know, you're creating desserts for multi-unit restaurants, so different restaurants with different concepts, and that was really, really fun. Although stressful, you know, those parts of the job were worth the stress. But definitely, you know, after 7 years, a group, it goes through growing pains. There's lots of things that changed, especially after COVID, and you know, it's not at the fault of the company. That's what happened when the world essentially shut down and we had to navigate everything differently. Staffing after COVID was easily the hardest thing we probably faced. Moment of pause for the level of struggle that we endured during that time. But so I think it was important for me to be able to realize at 25 that my goals didn't necessarily align with the company more. And like I said, it's not at the fault of the company, but just in decisions that needed to be made for myself. One of the biggest things that was important to me in making this move was making a financial plan and having a good understanding of how much money was going to be coming in, how much money was going to be coming out, and then how long I could survive without working after putting my notice in. I was able to provide the company with more than 60 days notice, which really gave me adequate time to kind of continue to have that money come in before I made my decision to leave. I've been able to save a lot over the last couple of years, so I have a lot of money in savings and a very large cushion under me that I can utilize to pay rent or other utilities for the time being. Putting my notice in was easily the hardest decision and conversation I've had to have. When I called our CEO owner, I couldn't even breathe because I was crying so much. And fortunately, and I'm very grateful for his response and his ability to calm me down and reassure me that everything was going to be okay and that me deciding to leave this job was not the end of the world. I think that's actually pretty rare, as a lot of other companies will blow up or freak out, or how could you do this to us? How could you leave us like this? So I realized that I'm really blessed in my ability to be able to close the door to this chapter in a really manageable way. In this industry, you definitely don't want to burn your bridges. Networking is really important. So, you know, had I thrown my hands up and said, I'm done, I hate this place, I can't do this anymore, you know, I wouldn't have been able to use anybody in this group as a resource in the future. And fortunately, we were able to provide enough notice and work out a kind of a plan for me to leave, a quote-unquote exit strategy that worked really well for myself and the rest of the team. I would have to say that one of the hardest things to do is work out your notice. This is the first time that I've had to work out a notice like this. I don't know what made it so challenging, maybe because it was more than 60 days, so it wasn't just, you know, 1 week and I'm out of here. It was more than 2 months worth of work, and arguably the most busiest time of the year for restaurants, with Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's Eve. And was it really, really hard to not check out. And as somebody who really, really cares a lot about her job and her team and the quality of work, it was definitely a challenge for me to not quit, not give up. And I spoke with our GM about it. I can't even tell you how many times I said, I want to give up. I want to quit. I want to be done. I can't do this anymore. Because when there's a light at the end of the tunnel, all of the issues that seem so minute when you don't have a notice put in just are so amplified and feel so much heavier and so much more stressful. And I don't know why that is. It would almost seem like it's the opposite. It would almost seem like, you're like, I'm out of here. I'm getting out of here. These issues might matter to somebody else, but they don't matter to me because I don't work here in 3 weeks or 4 weeks or whatever it might be. But for me, my personality, I really struggled with having to fight through some problems and still be supportive to my team. And I guess maybe that's what it is. And in a leadership role, you just don't really have the ability to have emotions like that. You don't really have the ability to throw your hands up and say, I don't care about these issues anymore. Being the pinnacle of light for 7 or 8 people that are working behind you and looking up to you and looking to you as a beacon of strength in stressful times, that's probably why I struggled so much being in that leadership role, not being able to check out, not being able to just quit. The main reason why I'm making this video is because I want to encourage other people who might be struggling or thinking about making this decision. I was so convinced my last day I was going to be walking out of there, hands in my face, crying my eyes out, just unable to make it home by myself because I just thought, I can't handle this and I'm not strong enough to make this change in my life. After 7 years of doing the same work in the same company, in the same building, and having the same routines, I just figured I wouldn't be able to handle it. I wouldn't be strong enough. But I really surprised myself on my last day. I walked home by myself. I carried home all of my gifts because my lovely coworkers were so kind to buy me flowers and treats and all types of cookbooks and things like that. And I think that I really allowed myself probably 10 or 15 minutes to cry that evening, get some of those emotions out, and then forced myself to move on. It's kind of one of those things where it's not that I want to allow myself the time to grieve, because in my opinion, making this move and change in my life almost kind of feels like grief, because you're losing something so close to the home, But I think it's important to keep the focus on the positive things. And even today, I was telling myself positive mantras. 2024, we're gonna work out more, we're gonna sleep more, we're gonna take care of ourselves. And that's really one of the reasons why I left the job too, was your inability to take care of yourself, prioritize your health, prioritize your mental health for sure, especially in a leadership role like that. Like I said, you don't get to have emotions, so working 12, 14, 16 hours a day, whatever has to be done to get the job done, you really sacrifice a lot of yourself for the job. And I think that many other chefs can agree, and many other people that work in the industry can absolutely agree that you lose yourself in that job, especially after 7 years. Like, that became my identity. My job became my identity. When I thought about what I was proud of or what I valued about myself, it was my job. And that is great, but also unhealthy. And I need to be able to be proud of myself for personal accomplishments as well as career accomplishments. And that's what I was missing. So I've taken the last couple days, as I am officially unemployed, to really focus on myself and my goals and what I want. And I'm reading books, I'm working out, I'm eating healthier, like I said, I'm sleeping more. So just continuing to focus and remind myself of the positive things as opposed to getting stuck on the negative or emotional things, because it is sad. You know, it is sad to move on and leave people behind and leave cultures behind and memories behind, but that's also part of life. I think it's important for everybody. If you're feeling stagnant in a role and you feel like it's not fueling your future and you don't know where you're going, that's what I'm here for, and that's why I'm making this video, is to encourage you to take that leap. And it's going to be scary and it's going to be emotional no matter what, but believe in yourself and invest in yourself. I have found that there's people around me who believe in me more than I believe in myself, and that's a problem. One of our chefs from the company, who's since left as well, he said, "Where's your confidence?" And I'm like, I don't have any confidence. My confidence is gone. I feel confident in the work that I do for the company, but I don't feel confident in myself and my abilities and my leadership skills and my communication skills. I need to feel confident about myself again. So although it's very scary, this is definitely the right move to make, and I encourage anybody that might be considering it to take that leap and to make sure that you do your due diligence. Make sure you have your financial plan. Make sure that you have something lined up if that's what you need to do. If your financial plan doesn't allow you to take some time off without working, make sure that you have a job lined up before putting your notice in. But there are other opportunities, you know. I live in this big, beautiful city that I can't stop looking at, but this is just one city of so many more, and there's so many opportunities, and the world is so small, and we see a small portion of it every day. So believe in yourself and take that leap. So what's next for me in life? There are so many options, it's actually scary. And I used to tell my dad, I feel so trapped. And he would be like, "You're insane. Of all the people on this planet, you're the least trapped. You don't have a mortgage, you don't have kids, you don't have anything tying you down. You could pick up and move to any new city tomorrow if that's what you wanted to do." And so that's what I'm realizing now, is in this unemployment, I don't have a job, I don't have anywhere to be at all for the next couple weeks, which is very strange, but I can do anything I want. I can start a small business and invest in myself. I could find a brick and mortar store and put up a storefront. I can find a commissary kitchen, or what I'm leaning to the most, obviously based off this video, is to start my YouTube channel. I really would like to do chef demos. I don't think that there's enough information on pastry, and I want somebody to teach me something in a way that I understand as an intermediate or a beginner level. So I think that might be my next move. And then continue to invest in myself, in my small business, with self-care, and yeah, that's it. That's it, y'all. I quit my job. I'm terrified. Moral of the story is do it. Even if you're scared, do it anyways. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to my channel if you want to follow along as me, the 25-year-old who's unemployed, tries to figure out what to do with her life. Thanks for being here, and have a good night.